Lebanese Ether, Freestyle Drive, Season 3, Episode 3. Got my man Coast.
Hello.
Coast Lo Castro in the car with me. What's going on, my man?
It's good. I got my safety belt on. I'm ready to drive safe.
You gotta follow the rules and shit. Ain't trying to get pulled over in the middle of the episode. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a first.
That never happened?
Hasn't happened, man.
Shit. I hope I don't jinx your ass.
With all the illegal shit we be doing on the phone and everything, haven't been pulled over yet.
Yeah, right?
Been stopped for directions in the middle of the show, but haven't been stopped by the popo. So we in Queens right now, right?
Right now we're in Rosedale, Queens.
Okay. You from Queens originally?
Originally, I was born in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved out to Long Island.
Okay.
Out to a town called Seaford. It's like in kind of like the middle of Nassau County, or toward the end of Nassau County.
Mm-hmm.
I lived there until like my first year of high school, and then I moved out right here. I went to high school over here. Right on this, like when I was like fucking 13, 14 years old, I used to walk up to that mall, smoke blunts, try to get bitches to fucking smoke blunts and come back to my crib with me.
All right.
You know
Is that the Green Acre Mall?
Yes, yeah, Green Acres. But I lived like a few blocks north of, we're on Sunrise right now, and I lived a few blocks north of that shit, so we would all hang out up there. My father worked at nighttime, so he was always gone.
Got you, so you had a lot of time to do bad things.
So try to have people come over to the crib.
I got you. So we're basically in the borderline. You was telling me between Queens and LI, right?
Right.
Okay. So you was born in the BX, moved to LI, grew up basically.
Then I lived around here for a little bit, Franklin Square, like this whole area, Valley Stream, Franklin Square, Elmont, West Hempstead. It's like kind of like the same type of, you'd be going to the store in West Hempstead. It's all like 5-10 minutes apart. So I grew up over there. Then my mother moved to Franklin Square, then she moved to Freeport, and then I moved back to the Bronx, and I lived there for probably about 8 years. Then I got divorced, and then I moved back to Hempstead. I lived after I lived over here. I lived in Hempstead for a while with my sister. Then I moved back to Hempstead. Then I lived in Hempstead for a few years. Now I live in West Hempstead, which is, it's only a few minutes from here.
So you got an area that you associate with more? You consider yourself a BX cat, a Queens dude, a LI head?
I've got family, like my whole family is from the Bronx.
Okay.
Like we all were from there and then moved out to different places. Like my cousin's family moved north to like Westchester, Yonkers area.
Yeah.
And my family moved out to Long Island. But then, my father lives way out east now.
Okay.
My sister lives way out east, and then my other sister still lives in Hempstead. So it's like we're basically from Long Island, Nassau County, Long Island.
Got you.
After the Bronx. But I still got family members out there, so.
So when did you start, I know you as a hip-hop artist. I know you do producing, engineering, and all that. Did you start writing lyrics originally? Is that when you got introduced into hip-hop? Or was you doing other stuff in the beginning?
It's crazy. Like, when I first started, like, when I was, like, really starting to take this shit seriously, I lived over here. I used to walk up to that mall right there.
Okay.
I remember one specific time, I was, like, fucking 13, 14 years old. I was walking. I have two older cousins that are 2 and 4 years older than me. So I was 14, one of them was 18, one of them was like 16, 17. And I fucking, we were walking up to that shit, I pull a joint out, and my cousins are like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You can't smoke that shit with us? I was like, motherfucker, this is what we do.
Because you was the youngest one?
Because I was younger than both of them, and they both wanted to smoke the shit too.
Yeah.
They both were like, you know what I'm saying, but they didn't want to go back to the crib all stony-eyed looking at my aunt and my father and shit. But we was walking up. I was really influenced by my older cousin. He was into crazy hip-hop shit. So when we would go on these little fucking missions and shit up to the mall and fucking, he would put me on to whatever was, popping at the moment. I didn't fucking really know what the fuck was good. I had a lot of influence people around, especially this area. Everybody was into hip-hop, especially at that time. We're talking about the early to mid-90s. That shit was big out here because you had a lot of cats coming from around here. LL Cool J was from right over here, 50 Cent, nobody knew him yet, but this is like this area around here, and, so I got a lot of influence early on, and then I started writing my raps, and one of the first things I would do is listen to hip-hop and write it down on paper, what they said.
The lyrics, the
to
actual
write
words.
what they were saying down.
Would you record it on the tape first? Like, how would you?
I would have it on the tape. I would, like, dub it off the radio or dub one of my cousin's tapes, and then play it, rewind it, play it, write in a line at a time.
That's
and really,
crazy,
without knowing it, that was an exercise just even for my memory to, you don't want to keep rewinding this shit. You want to remember exactly what the fuck, get a couple bars out. Before I even know what bars were, that's how I figured it out. The whole formula of how do you write a rhyme. And because I wanted to do this shit so bad. I would listen to it and I loved it, and I was like, how do they talk? It was, to me, fascinating, like, to hear these people talk. Like, how do they sound so fucking cool when they're talking? Like, I want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, coming...
Who was some of your influence? What was, like, at the time? You remember any...
Early, like, that early, we're talking, like, really early on, earliest influences were, like, obviously, like, the Fat Boys and fucking Run DMC and shit like that. But then when you start getting to the mid-90s, it was Nas, Mobb Deep, fucking, like, just all of that Queensbridge shit that was happening, Noriega. Yeah. But... one of them that sticks out to me, writing it over and over again, was fucking Deja Vu from Lord Tariq and Peter Guns. I was a little older at this time, so I had to be like, what was that, 97, 98? And I remember I dubbed it off the radio, Angie Martinez show, and I would just play it back and forth, and then, like, you know, then from that I got into pun, and it was like, when all that shit came out, is when I really started having the confidence, like, I was a rapper. Like, I thought I was 18, 19 years old.
So you, at that time, you were starting to write your own stuff too?
I would write it, you know, there was a real juvenile period of writing rhymes where I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I wasn't really recording, but like 16, 17, 18 years old is when I really started really being like, you know, because I would always rap. I have a lot of friends from back then that rapped. Everybody would smoke blunts and rap. Okay. But like I was always
freestyle shit or whatever.
Yeah. They would freestyle. Nobody would really take it seriously. But I was always way better than them. Like they would always like try to rap, and like there was something about it for me. And I was always like a little kind of chubby kid. I was always a big dude, but like I didn't really excel at sports. Like I didn't give a fuck. Like I played football in high school for the first few years, and then I stopped playing because I started smoking weed and trying to get my dick sucked. So that shit went out the window. So it was the one thing that I really had, was to be able to listen to music and make this music, or even just, you know, just get lost in a beat that you turn it on and just fucking lay there on the floor and try to write bars, you know? Because, you know, I would just be home alone. I didn't live with my mother. I lived with my father at this time, and he worked the night shift. So I was just in the crib, you know what I'm saying? Just listening.
Blazing and listening.
Just getting fucking stoned and fucking with my dog. I used to take fucking peanut butter and put it on the roof of my dog's mouth, get mad high, and watch him try to fucking eat the peanut butter. Oh my god! I just like stupid shit, man.
You're gonna have Pedo or whatever harass us after this.
Nah, the dog loved it. He got to eat peanut butter.
Just fucking around. But yeah, man. So you was writing. Was there a specific topic you was focusing on at the moment, or was it you just writing? You know,
at that time it was, you know, kind of mimicking the type of music that I made, and I was always I don't know if it's like a bad kid. I was always a fucking mischievous little fuckhead, like because I didn't have, like, my parents did what they had to do to get by, but they didn't have money to, like, and Long Island is a weird place, because if you go into Franklin Square, or you go into some of these towns, you got kids that come from real privileged families, like kids that get a driver's license and get a Mercedes-Benz, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I didn't have shit, really. If I wanted shit, and I'm so thankful for this shit the way it was, because it taught me a lot about becoming self-sufficient and wanting to fucking get shit for myself. And even, it's like a thing where it forced me into doing shit that I probably shouldn't have been doing, like selling fucking weed and coke and all kind of crazy shit. And then there was a period of time where I was using drugs and shit. I would fucking break into cars and just to fucking steal the change out, break a whole fucking $100 window on somebody and just to take fucking $1.50 out of it. Like, it's just fucked up shit. But I think if I never went through this shit, or had to, you know, it would have been worse. If my mother and father would just gave me money, it would have magnified the fucked up shit.
You in a sense?
Yeah, if I would have had an unlimited supply of money to buy drugs, I would be dead right now. So it's like you get caught, you get in trouble, you get arrested for stupid ass shit, and then it's like, do you want to go to jail? Even if it's just for a weekend, you want to get hemmed up and fucking sit in jail for possession of stolen property? You know, so I saw that shit early, and then I had a son. My son he's gonna be 11 years old next week. So I kind of straightened my shit out.
That made you focus more on.
Yeah, but you know, I got a little off topic there. But that's the type of shit I was rapping about. Like, just how I was living and what we were doing, you know, fucking bitches and smoking weed. I listen to some of this shit now, and I'm just like, you know, it's a different, because I've been rapping longer than I haven't been rapping. So to watch the progression of my mental state, just to go back and listen to that shit, it makes me want to crawl out of my fucking skin. Like you listen to that shit.
When you listen to the
Like
old
just
material?
where I am today and who I was then.
So do you look at that as a positive thing? Like, damn,
most definitely.
I've grown from that era, or, you know?
Every little bit of music. I signed a record deal in 2005 for from a subsidiary label from Universal Records. They gave me a ton of money.
That's what I was gonna get into. When did you start taking it seriously? Was
that was like really when, you know, I took it seriously before that. We would do open mic shit. I would go out to EO Dub back then and fucking rock. And, you know, I would take rapping seriously, but when I got that deal, it was like, okay, now you have to seriously make music. It's like, dude gave me a ton of money to just be in the studio and record music. I recorded it at the original cutting room with this dude, Dylan Mardrum. And at that time, K Slay had the fucking, there was Studio A or B or 1 and 2, whatever the fuck they call it, and he had A booked out. It was just his shit. Like, this was when Hot 97 was popping, like the Drama Kings. And I met Papoose. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. And like he was like sitting on the bench in there, like just a dude, you know what I'm saying? So this was like an early time. This was like 05, 04, really, when he first started to buzz. But I really started taking music a little more seriously about the content of what I was making.
How was that experience, that record label experience?
That whole experience, you couldn't tell me shit. At that time, at 2005, this was at a time when every rapper that you meet now that's my age, like I'm 36, I'll be 36 next week. My birthday's the day after my son's. So, at that time, what was I, 25 years old, 24, 20, whatever. I was born in 81, so whatever the math on that is, 23, 24. So, but like everybody was trying to rap and everybody was trying to get a deal. Like it was like a big deal to get a deal. Like it
wasn't
like,
the independent shit that we see today, for example.
Yeah,
at that time it was,
At that time, when you're signing to a fucking subsidiary of Universal Records, you're promised worldwide distribution, tours, an unlimited budget to go into the studio. Bro, when I was in that shit, I bring a couple people along with me that we kind of, I wanted to like have my people experience this shit. And it was like, yo, whatever you want, we order weed, order food, order whatever the fuck you want. It was like, it was a crazy experience, and it really kind of jaded the rest of my like hip hop future for me, because it's like,
it took away the hunger a little bit.
It took away.
What would you say, like?
Because once I did that album, and it never came out to this day.
So you did a recorded album for them.
That was supposed
to be released under that subsidiary.
I recorded a full album, and the dude.
What's the name of it? Did you release it afterwards? Is it out now?
Well, it was tentatively titled Classic Material.
Okay.
And I have it. I put it up on Bandcamp a few years ago just so people could hear it.
Cool.
But you know, it was so like I couldn't understand. Like it kind of crushed me in a sense as an artist. It was like you put all this stock into, you know, what's gonna happen when you get a deal. Like prior to that point, I thought that getting a deal was going to change my life forever, just like every rapper thinks.
Exactly.
And it changed, you know, I still have some of the equipment I bought with the money that I got from that shit.
Cool.
I still have, you know.
So there was perks to it.
There was definitely perks to it. It was not what I thought the perks were going to be.
Right.
I thought the perks were going to be, you know, just living in some lap of luxury, fucking cars, bitches. Like, you know, I got some bitches, I bought a car, but it was... I thought it was going to be forever. You think shit, at that age especially, you think, this is it, I made it. And then when it didn't happen, it kind of took all the wind out of my sails, where I felt like, why fucking bother? Why do I even do this shit anymore? Like, you know, I had just 1 year after that, 2006, my son, I found out I was having a son, and it was like, yo, you can't be running around doing this knucklehead shit. Especially my baby mother she herself was a knucklehead. She wasn't about shit. So one of us had to get our shit together.
Yeah. And steady income, you mean basically like
just grown up shit.
Because starving artist lifestyle, even though you had the deal, but not having that steady artist income.
Some people are afforded the opportunity where they don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
Like I know people to this day that live with their mom and dad and get money, and that's cool, man. I wish I could. Like I wish that I didn't have to worry about paying for a house and paying for fucking 2 cars and health insurance and all this crazy shit. But when you know, and that's when the shit got real, because at that time I was living with my sister in Hempstead until I got some money and we got our own spot. But we got our own spot because my sister was like, she found out my baby mother was pregnant, and she was like, you know, up until then, I had just been living in the crib, not really contributing shit, just being there. She's like, well, you need to do your own thing now. It's like, you know, you were here, you're my brother, you know, but you're not gonna have a kid and a baby in here too, like, and you're all gonna do nothing. So it was that push that really made me like, all right, fuck it, you know, I'm a man, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna get my shit together. And I did. I went out and I got a job, and I fucking really took music completely different from then. It really took out all of the allure of possibly blowing up.
Did you stop music for a while during that period, or was it just like in the back burner at the moment? Or
there was a hiatus, you know, where I started, especially when I first started my job, where I didn't give a fuck, because I was like, when I thought I made money hustling, I didn't make money. I'm talking about, you know, 401ks and like adult fucking salary. I work for the Transit Authority.
Okay.
So it's like, it was like a whole different world when you have a kid that doesn't understand. Like, if you catch a fucking come up and make a couple of racks, that's a big deal to a dude that has no salary, you know what I'm saying? But when you get fucking a couple of racks bi-weekly, you're like, man, fuck all this bullshit, let me get this money.
Exactly.
Especially when they're talking about you could work overtime and fucking double that. It's like, I just wanted money. I just wanted to be in a position where nobody could tell me shit.
Got you.
So, you know.
That was independent. That was true independence too, in a sense.
Yeah, for me, it was sort of like, you know, because my father has always been like a hustler without doing illegal shit. Like, he also worked for the Transit Authority. He had a body shop. He had a business on the side where he had a fucking van like that one right there, and he would fucking go. He did work for a chain of one of his uncles owned 7 McDonald's, so he would do like installations of shit. He was just hustling, even while he was
anything
working.
to make money, anything to bring in income,
anything to get money.
Exactly.
But he always kept a fucking Cadillac. He always had a knot in his pocket, and when you see that as a kid, it's like. And then when you see your friends that think they got a little knot, it's like, that ain't the knot you're looking for.
Exactly.
Like and especially the dudes that I would know that would be hustling, getting that money, they would go to fucking jail for fucking 18 months every time they got fucking pulled over with work on them. So it was like,
and lose some of that money that they
lose all the fucking money. That shit's done.
You
get pulled over with work and money on you, you're going to jail, you're losing all your money, and you're losing whatever they could seize from you. Nobody had bank accounts, nobody did it right. So it's like, you see this shit, and it really, that took my focus away from music.
Can you go back a little bit on why the album didn't come out? Was it just record label bullshit? Like, just like, because you hear that a lot with a lot of artists that had deals, and then it didn't materialize for whatever reason, and then they get, you know, they say, fuck this hip-hop shit or music industry and all that, fuck the record labels, etc. Like, why would they invest so much and then not release a project? Like,
I couldn't figure that shit out for the fucking life of me, bro. And it was for years after that, and I had signed a contract that locked my fucking shit up for, at that time, I believe it was 8 years and 4 albums. So when you're making decisions at 24, 25 that are gonna take you into your fucking mid-30s, it was such a fucking crushing feeling to me, because while he wasn't putting my shit out, I signed a dumbass contract that said I couldn't do shit. And fortunately, that record label, the subsidiary of the Universal, he basically folded and bowed out of the game. Because at that time, everybody thought they were gonna fucking have a record label and put music out and become rich. So I said fuck it. After I seen he wasn't doing shit, the album wasn't coming out, I was still gonna fucking just do whatever the fuck I wanted. I didn't care. I was gonna deal with whatever happened. Like, legally, I shouldn't have been putting out music, but I did anyway, and nothing happened.
They could have technically sued you if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I wasn't making money off my music like that. If I would sell hand-to-hand CDs at shows or whatever, but he wasn't coming for that.
So they folded or whatever. So did you start pursuing an independent route? When did you start coming back to hip-hop again, like taking it serious, or, you know, being more passionate about it?
I always had, this is something that never goes away from me. I always, even when I got the job, I would be driving to work freestyling, and like, just, it never went away. I could never make it go away. Even to this day, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But about 2009, so I started working, my son was born in 06, I started working at the job in 07.
Okay, the transit.
Yeah.
The transit job, yeah, nice.
And so, like, 08, I was focusing on the job, and then 09, I started really doing music again, because I had some money, I had some equipment, I just bought some new shit, and I'm just, you know, I'm making music. I started fucking with, I'm in a group called Bad Karma, which is Cole, Taboo, you probably seen Taboo on Instagram.
On your podcast and stuff.
Yeah, he's the co-host of my podcast. His brother is Cole, who is one of the inventors of Cypher Circuit.
Okay.
And Buttertones.
Okay.
and Laro, who's a producer. And there's a couple other producers that are affiliated, and another MC, Ray's, but he's not really doing much anymore. But we started doing a lot of work, and we started doing mad shows out in Long Island with this dude Grim. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he used to do, like, I was always from out here. They're from out, Cole and Taboo is from Smithtown.
Okay.
So they brought me out there. I started doing crazy shit. There's a place called the Cop Shop. Well, it was a record store out in Smithtown called the Cop Shop in the early 2000s. So I had known of them, and I met Buttertones through my baby mother. So I got cool with them. You know, I knew them on a you know, a chill level, and then you know, when I started, I did a lot of music with Buttertones early on. Buttertones is one of the cats that I brought to in the studio with me when I was doing my album for that record label and shit. So you know, he was like my right hand man at the time. It's funny, I don't even talk to the dude no more. Like, you know, we went through some shit, but I started fucking around with Bad Karma, and that's how I got back into really doing shows. And through fucking with Bad Karma, I started a record label with Diabolic called War Horse Records. And once I started fucking with Bolic, he started taking me on the road with him, doing, you know, he toured with Tech, so he was opening up for Immortal Technique, and he would bring me out. So I got, like, you know, that experience was kind of priceless for me, because that really brought everything full circle. You know, I had the record deal.
But you wasn't touring at that time.
When I had the record deal, I didn't really get to tour.
That was more studio experience.
Right, you know, I would do the local shit around here, go out to the city, whatever I get my hands on. But when I went with Bolic, it was like the first time where we're at fucking Rock the Bells in front of whatever thousands of fucking people, and that feeling on the stage is like something that'll light a fucking fire under your ass. If you're as an MC, you know, and still I was kind of like in my head thought that for that reason, that type of exposure that's what's going to propel me into, you know, really making a mark and getting known. And then when that didn't happen, it was like, you know, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I suck? Am I that whack? Like, because you see, you know, Bolic, out of all the people I know, Diabolic is the only person that really has success as a hip-hop artist. You know, like, I'm talking about, like, Diabolic doesn't work. He pays his bills by doing hip-hop. So that's you
mean from like personal cats, you know, that surround you?
The cats in my immediate circle, like I'm talking about like Cole, Taboo, and like the people around me that have been trying to get on as long as I knew. I hadn't known anybody that made a mark in hip hop the way Diabolic.
Got you. Okay.
So, you know, I thought that it was possible. You know what I'm saying? When you know somebody and you know, you come up, Diabolic's from Huntington, Long Island. So, you know, we're from the same place, and it's like, you're like, this shit is possible. This shit could happen. But, you know.
So what do you think it is? Do you think it's timing? Do you think it's, you know, different artists cater to different audiences or different material?
Absolutely all timing. Yeah. Like, because especially at the time, like, I don't know how familiar you are with Diabolic and Immortal Technique, but
I know the joint that he was on, Technique's
right. Dance with the Devil.
On the hidden track at the end. Exactly.
That song for Immortal Technique at that time, when that shit came out, was, to like, for a hip-hop head, for me, that was like the biggest record that Tech did prior.
Everybody was listening to that joint. I'm talking about like cats who wasn't fucking with underground hip hop would listen to Dance with the Devil. I'm like, yo, there's other hot shit on the album too. But at that time, because I was like in my political shit, right? So I'm like, yo, there's other hot joints, but everybody just wanted to play Dance with the Devil, which is obviously amazing. And then you got the hidden joint at the end.
That shit takes you, like, even Tech's, like the Dance with the Devil itself, that shit takes you on a fucking mental journey. Damn, that shit really happened.
that was definitely his joint that appealed to a large, not just an underground audience, you know.
So that was a good introduction for Bolic, especially getting on that and fucking flaming it the way he did. Like, there was supposed to be, I think, 3 other cats on that song, and
at that ending track,
at
the hidden song, whatever. I don't know.
And they didn't make the cut. Okay. So that's how, that shit. So, you know, that timing of that, and I would never underplay Diabolic as a lyricist. To me, he's one of the fucking most talented lyricists I've ever met in my entire life. If you listen to the way he writes bars and punchlines and just the way he sets them up, and it's like, that shit happened at the right time. He got the right exposure, and he just fucking ran with it, you know. And it's a weird thing too, because people, like, for him, there was, you know, he's an obvious talent. People don't know how to take me. You know what I'm saying? I could rap. I don't say the type of shit that Bolic says in my rap. Like, I don't write like heavy punchline shit like that a lot of times. I could, but my music is more like introspective if I'm not talking about my dick and fucking just talking shit. Like, so it's a different appeal, and like nobody, and at face value, people don't know where to put me. Like the majority of my life, when people heard my name, they automatically assumed I was Hispanic. Lo Castro. And I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Just in my entire life, I thought.
What is your background, if you don't?
I did a DNA test, and
we spoke about that on the podcast, but yeah.
Because my entire life, with that last name, and with I do have prominent like dark features, like a Puerto Rican dude. My whole entire family, like when you look into the past, my fucking grandfather looked like Ricky Ricardo from Lucy, like the same shit. So I always thought, I knew that I wasn't all Italian. I knew that there was something else there. I thought it would be some type of Hispanic, but I always kind of sort of identified as just Italian. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's how you grew up, in an Italian household before this DNA testing.
Yeah. So Italian culture, for the most part, it was like coming up in a neighborhood that's ethnically diverse. It's weird because I meet like kids that grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and that shit is heavy where they identify mostly as something. Like it's like, and there's a pride to it, and then there's the behind the doors kind of racism shit. Like, because when I move from these places, you get this undertone of like just almost like shit that's implanted in people's heads. Like my family wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? My father grew up in the Castle Hill projects, bro. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. It's a weird thing, and especially now, after I did the DNA test to really figure out what the fuck I was, and it came out that I'm only 70% Italian and the rest is Middle Eastern. It's like,
that's crazy.
I knew something was there. I just didn't know what the fuck it was. But at this point, it's like, you grow up with everybody, especially when we were younger and the whole 9/11 shit happened and people always talking that shit about fucking Middle Eastern cultures and Muslims and shit. It's like, now thinking in hindsight, like if I had known this shit back then, there would have been a few motherfuckers getting punched in the shit. Like, it's just crazy. Like, to me, it's like everybody, we had this conversation on the podcast. Nobody is 100% in nothing. We're all just here. You know what I'm saying? We got here
we're more diverse than we may think that we are.
Exactly.
Even if you may, grew up in one type of culture, whether it's Arab, Italian, Irish, whatever it is, Caribbean, whatever, Jewish, whatever, you may be much more diverse than you think you are.
Exactly, and that's the shit. Like, but my point to that was like when you do grow up in a neighborhood that is ethnically diverse, you don't really identify as, like the Italian guy. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, I'm from New York. You know what I'm saying? I'm from here. I'm like, I got friends that are white, black, Spanish.
Well, sometimes you are what people perceive you as. So I'm Middle Eastern, I'm Lebanese, but a lot of people perceive me as Spanish or from Latin America. So I get that a lot, that they assume I'm one thing. So you kind of grow up with those influences, even though you're not that. I grew up, in a Latin American household, but because people perceive me as that, it kind of in a weird way becomes part of you in some ways.
That's the weird shit too, because my sister married a fucking El Salvadorian dude. Like, I speak more Spanish than I do Italian.
All right.
And I grew up in Hempstead and all these areas with like Spanish-speaking people, and it's like, so then when you speak in Spanish to the dude behind the counter and try and tell him you ain't Spanish and you look like me, it's like they think then that you're trying. They think you're trying to be uppity. Nah. It's the crazy, dynamic.
Got you.
But
all right, so you produce as well. When did that start happening? I
started making.
Why did you start producing? You was like, fuck this rap shit, I want to get into a different angle?
I never said fuck the rap shit. When I was 19 years old, I got a job on the weekends at this catering hall, and I met a dude. He went by the producer named Basic Science, dude Vito, and we would work our fucking catering hall shifts, get off work, shoot uptown, get a bag of that fucking put you in the casket shit.
Okay.
And he would just play me these beats. And at the time, I was rapping. I was like, who made that? He's like, I made it. I was like, how did you make the beat? You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck are you? And he took me to his crib, and he had a fucking MPC 2000 XL and a little Vestex mixer and a 1200, a Technique 1200 turntable. And he started showing me how he was fucking, how he made beats. And then I saved my money from when I was working at that catering hall shit. And this kid I know used to be a fucking, you know how these dudes do this swiper shit now, whatever they call scammer, credit card scams? Where they steal the credit. I knew a kid that was doing this shit back then, whatever that was, like 2000, 99. and he went to Guitar Center or Sam Ash or
shit.
whatever, and he popped his trunk, and he had an MPC 2000 XL in his trunk. At that time, the thing was like over $1,000. It was like $1,200. I got it from him for $300, brand new out the box.
Damn.
And I was just like, you know, I set it up in my room.
Coming from the booster.
He didn't even know what he was selling. He had, you know, at that time he's seen in rap videos people with the MP. He just went in there and just copped shit that he thought he could bump off. He just pulled up to a 7-Eleven and popped his trunk. I was like, that, give me that.
Nice. All right.
So I started fucking around on the MPC, and really Vito was a huge influence on, you know, he taught me how to make beats. Just by watching him, he taught me how to use the MPC. I would call him on the phone. Yo, what the fuck? There was no YouTube back then.
Yeah,
they gave you a manual. You could order VHS cassette tape that had a how-to, and I dubbed a copy of that. I don't know if it was from him or his boy. But somebody gave it to me. And, you know, so I started fucking around mainly because I just wanted beats of my own. You would get these J-Arm CDs and all these instrumental CDs back then to rap to, but I wanted my own shit. Like, I wanted original beats that that were mine. And some of my beats back then were decent, and some of them were complete trash. And then, you know, once I got a little more time on my hands as I got, you know, older, if I wasn't rapping, like when I started that job, I'd always kind of do some hip-hoppy type shit. Like, you know, I would make beats. I kept the MPC for a while, and then I upgraded. I got an ASR 10.
Okay.
I just always had something to make beats on. So if I wasn't rapping, if I wasn't in rapping mode, I was in making beats mode. But now, lately, the way you see me making beats now, like last August, I got in a car accident. Dude, I was making a left like this. There's a turning lane.
Okay.
And I was pulling into the turning lane, and the dude fucking T-boned me.
T-bone shit.
He fucked my shit up. I was out of work. I'm still out of, I haven't gone back to work yet. Hopefully I'll go back next month. But I've just had nothing but time on my hands. So I've just been sitting, like I got a whole studio set up in my crib, like a home personal studio. And I just sit down there and I just would be banging out beats. You know what I'm saying? So I never really identified as a producer because I had a lot of ill producers around me. But then I started making beats that were better than a lot of these dudes, and then when you see the attitude change in producers too, where like a few of them in particular that don't, like, when producers just make beats, when you rap and make beats, they take it a little certain way. They're like, oh, come on, man. Like, they don't like when you do both things. So like, there's a secret little hate. Just be a rapper. Why you gotta make beats for too? Cause I'm not too, you know, I'm an asshole. Like, I talk shit to people, but I don't mean it. Like, this producers I fuck with no matter what beats I make. As a rapper, I just started rapping to my own beats really now. Like, seriously, I would rap to them shits when I used to make them back then, but now I'm putting together an album of just shit that I produce. Like, this whole time I've been...
You rapping over it or just instrumental?
Me rapping over my beats.
Nice.
Because I never did it.
So I know you're part of Cypher Circuit too. You have the podcast in the Cypher. How did that whole thing come about? The whole Cypher Circuit crew and
Cypher Circuit. It was. I lived in Brooklyn at the time. This was 2015. I lived in Brooklyn for a while. My current wife's family's from Brooklyn. They have a house in Williamsburg, and like we lived over there. And Mo's from Brooklyn. Mo at that time was living in Brooklyn, and Cole. Taboo's brother Cole came through to the crib, and he was with Mo. He was chilling with Mo, so he brought Mo to my house, and they were telling me about this idea that they had for this website, and they were about to get it off the ground. And at that time, I was working on a TV show, and I didn't give a fuck what they were talking about. I was editing the shit in my house, and I was like excited to have people come so I could show them my shit and everything. And it was kind of like whatever they were saying was in one ear and right out the other. Like, you know, I'm like that sometimes, you know. The narcissistic fucking me type of shit. You can tell by how much I'm talking. It just starts coming out. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So, but they told me about it then, and then I became cool with Mo, and then when Cypher Circuit launched, I started participating in Murder to Beat occasionally from time to time, and then my relationship with Mo grew, you know, just through events and seeing him and whatever. We talked about doing a bunch of shit, and then one day we went... Nico the Beast, he's a dude that's on Cypher Circuit. Dude used to have the big beard and the long hair from out Philly. He was having a show out in Reading, Pennsylvania, and I was rocking with Tabs and Cole, and Mo knew I was in Brooklyn, so Mo was like, yo, you rolling to the show? And I talked to Mo, and we ended up rolling to the show. I drove out there, and for a long time, I was doing this shit, which is weird, because now we're doing this. called Driving in Cars with Phil. I put the camera. I had a mount just like that, and I put my cell phone up there.
All right, yeah.
And I would just talk shit, just drive around talking shit. And
he was rapping too. Was it just more like a podcast on a video, or was it more like?
It was. This was
it
before
current events you were talking about? Like what was just whatever was on your mind?
Yeah, I would just turn the camera on, start talking shit. And it was on Facebook. I would mainly do it on Facebook before live was invented on Facebook. I would just do videos and upload them to Facebook. Then Facebook Live came, and I just started doing them live.
Okay.
But I had an idea to do right around that time, I started working out in the gym with Laro, and every day I used to drive an hour each way to go to the gym. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. But I had all this time on my hands, and I was talking to Mo about possible ideas for a podcast in the car and this and that. And we threw around a couple ideas, and then that conversation developed into, you know, the Inner Cypher podcast to the form that it's in now. Obviously, I'm not driving in it, but it sparked the idea for me to do just a regular podcast. I had a lot of equipment, so I figured I could record it in my house. And in the beginning, I don't know if you remember some of the earlier episodes that were video. I was doing them on green screen in my house, and it was an hour and whatever change in a video podcast.
And I know some of your recent ones been video too, right?
Yeah, well, now I do them live on IG, because I started doing them
even before. Like you had Little D on, wasn't that like a video episode? Was that something totally different?
I would film when I started having guests in the studio. I would film their freestyles and shit.
Got you. Okay.
You know what it was? Like the first 50 or so episodes, I ran fucking 2 GoPro cameras, and then I shot in green screen, so I had to edit the shit and put the background and put the names in. Like it became
a lot of work.
Yeah, it became like 8 hours of work on a Sunday. You know, 2 hours to get up, set up, and record, and then another 4, 5, 6 hours to fucking edit the shit. And I was like, you know, at that time I was still working full time. I got a son. I'm getting married. I got all these responsibilities. So I just told Mo, I was like, yo, I'm just gonna cut the shit down to audio. Then I started bringing people into the studio, so I started running the cameras again to get the audio and the video of the freestyles. And then IG came out with this live feature, so we're like, fuck it, let's just go live.
Use that,
You know, fucking...
take advantage of everything that makes things easier.
Just catalog the footage, you know, put it up there. What I want to start doing is YouTube live, because that shit keeps it on YouTube forever. IG lets it rock for like a week or 24 hours, whatever the fuck, and then it's gone.
You can probably download them somehow and upload them to YouTube. There's probably different apps,
but then I'd have to do that, and I'm fucking retarded, so I didn't...
It's extra work. You're trying to do things with the least... amount of hours to spend on it. It is a lot of, it's time consuming. But the podcast shit was dope because, I mean, that shit was popping, the audio, and people are into listening when they're driving. Not everybody wants to watch, video. I mean, a lot of people do like the visuals, but some people just like to listen to shit too, whether in the gym,
That's
driving.
why I just stuck with,
So that made sense to have it as an audio, podcast too, and mixing it up with video on occasion with his guest in the studio. So basically, it became a podcast where you would rate the weekly Murder the Beats.
Right.
You pick a top 10. And then you would rap over the instrumental yourself, and then have a guest here and there. But that's basically what it became.
That was the basic science for how we were gonna do it. I was gonna talk a little shit, talk about current events, when any hip hop shit's going on, and that would always wind up with me talking shit about whatever. Me and Tabs, me and whoever I would usually have Taboo, Laro, or 17 Candles was a regular co-host. If not, it was just myself, just talking about whatever. And then I would go through the top 10 submissions for Murder to Beat. At first, I would pick them. And then people would cry about me picking the same people.
All right.
So then I started having a member of Cypher Circuit pick them, so they couldn't cry to me anymore.
Okay.
And those people were still picking the people I was picking, because those people were the best.
Gotcha.
So then we phased out the Murder to Beat shit, and we were sort of at this crossroads where it was like, what the fuck, there's no more Murder to Beat. What am I going to do? I talk. Some people listen to it because they like to hear me talk, because I do talk shit. I could be funny, telling stories, whatever. But it didn't have the hip-hop element to it anymore. So it did, obviously, because it's still Cypher.
You're talking hip-hop, but before you would have, you would rock an instrumental in the beginning of the weekly beat, or the outro, whatever.
Right, you'd come in with the previous week's beat. I would rap to it.
Yeah.
I still would put on beats and rap and shit. It just had less interaction with the members. So we had to try to figure out something to get the people back involved. So when this live shit, there's only the last 2 episodes with the live shit. I think it's like the greatest shit that happened, because now I could bring these people in spontaneously and talk about whatever's going on, whatever's happening this week, whatever, we got this iRap Better Than You contest happening, and whatever these people have going on. And it sort of makes it more off the cuff, like we just talk about whatever, you know what I'm saying?
And interactive, it gets people involved.
Exactly.
Whereas before they was involved in it through their submissions, let's say, now they can be involved in a different way through the IG Live.
And I said this shit to Mo when I started this. I was like, rappers specifically just want to be the star of the show. They want to talk about themselves. They want to feel like they are, you know, a superstar. Every rapper really wants to be in the limelight. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? You know, I'm sure there's some people that would say no, but most rappers, you know, have like an ego-centric type attitude where it's like me.
They want to shine or whatever. Shine. Exactly.
Want the props, want people to see what they're doing. So
no doubt.
That's why this live shit works. You come on there, you know, I bring a couple dudes on, they spit, they did whatever. So I just like it. I feel like it gives them that platform that we were giving to cats that, you know, we're doing the Murder the Beat shit. So it works.
You down to get into the freestyle session? All right, you know.
Let's see what we got.
All right, let's do this. Got my man Coast Castro from In the Cypher Podcast, also Cypher Circuit.
We're gonna talk Ford Model T. My bad, cutting you off.
What's a rare joint? What was that?
It's like a 1920 fucking Ford. Right. It's pretty risky driving on the road out here.
All right, let's do this then.
All right, see how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My man Coast. Freestyle Drive. CypherCircuit.com.
Yeah. I ain't spitting writtens, son, I spit it off the top. Any rapper come around and you know he's getting mopped. Punch him in his top, knock him on the ground. Pissing on his body that I'm fleeing out the town. It doesn't really matter when I splatter all these rappers. I kick them down the stairs, then I shit on all these crackers. Fuck it, I said some shit, I might be disgusting. Kick it off the top, you know I busted. Keep it moving when I'm grooving in the car. Everybody wanna know, yo, we think he is a star. Nah, I just think I'm mad ill with the writtens or the spitting. Doesn't matter off the top of nothing, or you frontin'. Doesn't really matter if you bluffing. Come around and kick you off your stunting. You a muffin, soft around the middle. Motherfucker, why you acting skittle? That's mad sweet. I got mad feet, they mad big, and I'll stick them up your damn ass. Got the spares on the beat when I rock it. Coming out my pocket with the rocket. Said it twice, doesn't matter cause I spock it. In the space, in the sky when I'm flying. No denying, kids got skills, you lying. If you say he doesn't, you say he wasn't what he was. Then he coming up your head with the buzzing. Cousin, shoot you in your face just for fronting. Nothing, it's like that when I'm stunting. Yeah, it's on the back block, and we cruising through the street, so you know this shit is mad cock. Under the seat, I'm under your meat, with the hammer cock ready to fire it to your feet, till you bleed. Peep the little shorty, talking mad shit, it's kinda naughty. Bring it to the crib, she getting on me, yeah, and I keep on spitting it. What you talking about,
yeah.
What do? I just rhyme forever?
Coast. I can switch it up. We're gonna switch it up. Whenever you stop, I'll switch it up to the next thing.
I know
you can. I know Coast can. Yeah.
This is the action rhymes.
Yep, right? Easy Rider shit.
Yeah.
Got my man Coast in the car with me today. Season 3, episode 3, Freestyle Drive. Riding in cars with rappers.com. Coast, let's go.
Yeah. I gotta close my eyes to see the picture. Need a bottle of bud, that's the elixir. Spark it up, take a ride down the back street. Motherfucker said that shit twice, but that's me. It doesn't matter anymore. I spit rhymes and you know that shit's raw. I spit it from the soul, you spit it from your head. It doesn't matter when I read out a book. I saw the pages coming at me. They coming from the mind, that shit was crappy. And the thoughts keep flowing. Every time they think they know it, I reinvent the flow. I come back and I said it some more. It's like that. And I hate the fucking traffic, it stores the fucking energy. Every time I'm rapping, I got cars to the front and to the side of me. They denying my skill, they try denying me. I try punching their face and get them away from me. Why you talking that shit? You trying to play with me? It's not like that. Hit him with a spike bat, run his bitch over, tell him, yo, I'll be right back to run your pockets, take your jewelry. This cocksucker came around making fool of me. It's not happening. These cats rapping, but they ain't saying shit when they do. It's not happening. Why do I gotta repeat this? Every time I do, this shit's facetious. That's a big ass word, you couldn't know it unless you get reading them books. You're not a poet, you're not showing any intelligence when you do it. I'm just sitting here spewing the movement, break it down to the tactics. Motherfucker, this is madness. This is shit you try but never have it. Writing in the book even when I'm feeling stagnant. The thoughts keep coming. I keep strumming on the freestyles, and you know they keep bumping. In the whip when the bass go booming. Put you in the ground, man, lay you in the tomb, and I'm back to come and claim your goods. Come and claim the hood. And we fogging up the windows. I'm in the crib with your motherfucking bimbo. Just fucking butt naked in my Timbos. Bend the bitch over, send her with the dick though.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Got my man Ghost. We out in Queens right now. We're gonna play some Queens instrumental for y'all.
Yeah.
In the Cypher podcast. Make sure y'all check it out. Shout out to cyphercircuit.com. I'm Lebanese Ether. This is Freestyle Drive. Yeah.
Yeah. When this shit dropped, I was in the drop doing $120. Son, you couldn't get shit from me. Take your money, steal your fucking packs, bring them to the block, and I slung them like that. You'll never get them back. Why you trying to talk to me? I don't listen to these cats. Shit is awkwardly coming in my ears. I hope you disappear. I hope them fucking rhymes you got end your career. You mad stupid. Why you always zooming? That means you speeding, homie. You shouldn't fucking do it. You ain't got a plan for this. I was made for it. Doesn't really matter since the 4th grade for it. 4th grade's what I meant to say. Doesn't really matter cause everything you said is gay. From a different day, I was in a different way. Getting rhymes in my book every fucking spiff. And I fucked it up, but I could do that. I'm having fun with this shit. Here's a new rap. Manufactured off the brain cause I do that. It's Coastalano, that's what they used to call me. I'm from a hood where these motherfuckers call me. This drama, I'ma be right to it. Coming to your crib and I smack right through it with a Buick. And I ain't never fucking drive those. My nose kinda sore when I fly those. Bumps off the end of the key stick. These kids wanna rap, don't say shit. Yeah, now selling's what the sign says. Now selling's what my mind read. That means I gotta sell product on the block now. So I can get this money, you fucking cock clown. Cock round, the block when I smoke that. Doesn't even fucking matter, son, I poke that. Bring your bitch around and I'ma stroke back. Hope that doesn't get me caught. I just got married, I ain't trying to go to court. I'm divorced, I got a young son, gotta live. I got a little baby in the oven making kids. It doesn't even matter what you say, cause you shit. I spit it off the top, motherfuckers know it's legit. Yeah. Bitch. We can switch the beat, and I can rhyme forever and never fucking meet. The level style I bring when I do it, shit is ill. It's fucking Phil.
Yeah, it's fucking Phil.
Is that trap shit?
It's that trap shit. We got Coast on the trap beat.
Is it gonna do this the whole time or does it drop?
It's gonna switch up a little bit. It's gonna drop. It's gonna drop. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Take a sip of this so I can get in the game.
Freestyle Drive. We got Coast. Yeah.
I can feel it's about to drop. Where the fuck the snare's at? It's got no snare?
It kind of goes on like this.
It goes like this?
For the most part, yeah. Coast.
Where's the beat drop? There it go, hit it. Spit it down the middle when I motherfucking spit it. Split it like a Dutch, then I motherfucking smoke it. Think you got a beat I can't spit to, you joking. Stop it. Come around, I'm a cop shit. You ain't got it on you, then I'm going in your pockets. You got it mad close, then I got it mad toast in the trunk of the whip. I'ma pull it, mad hoax when you speaking. Nothing you say is fucking real life. Motherfucker, there's some plants over there, real nice. Got a Christmas tree, son, they wish it's me. When they bumping in they fucking car, shit is history. That means it's laid down flat, you can peep it. Put it on the internet, keep it in a sequence. Album 1, 2, 3, 4, you should see it. I got a bunch of records and you never fucking seen this. Facetious. When I'm spitting, tell them suck a dick. Motherfucker, you don't know who you fucking with. When I'm rapping off the top, I'm a dugger bitch. Then I throw her out the whip, she a ugly bitch. Yeah, I ain't fucking with hoes. Everybody around the town, man, they know. Yeah. And I can kill it like an Eon. Bitch ass rappers come around and get peed on. They ain't on a single fucking thing that we on. Yeah. Like an Eon.
Coast.
I can rap to anything.
Yeah, I know that. Let's do it.
I ain't spit a written yet.
Yeah. Freestyle Drive.
This shit is.
I haven't heard this in a minute.
The joint itself.
Yeah.
Used to fucking motivate the fuck out of me.
Thought it was right for you. And my man Coast,
Yeah.
Cypher Circuit,
Yeah.
writing in carswithrappers.com. Check out all my previous
Close
episodes.
my eyes and I see the words. Listen to him. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, Lip. The greatest fucking beat ever. Oof. Oh, this is a bad dub of it though. They ain't got that part I was
Wait till
making.
it drops though.
Yeah.
It's alright when it drops.
Yeah. Disingenuous, still pretending I could care less. If I be more impaired, what I declare would be a fair guess. The sun is up, the run is up, acclaiming dead next. The bars are hard to speak with. Yeah. The bars are hard to speak with blood secreting from a. You see, this is why I don't spit written. I just spit it off the top. Yeah.
You want me to bring it back?
No. I got it. Yeah. Disingenuous, I'm still pretending I could care less. If I be more impaired, what I declare could be a fair guess. The sun is up, the run is up, acclaiming their nest. The bars are hard to speak with blood secreting out of their necks. The passers by are saying dumb shit while I'm running through the block on some bum shit. With some dirty pants on, come and come shit. I punch your moms in the face just for fronting. Yeah, and then she get her fronts knocked out. I'ma show you what the motherfucking blocked out. Call my mans on the phone, tell them come through. I'm about to be like, yo, we sunned you with your whack rhymes. All the whack time you spent in the booth was a waste. You ain't got those lines. Motherfucker, I'm colossal, fat like a motherfucker. Still beg your bitch though. Yeah, when I should've said that, it would've rhymed better when I set up in the spot. I set them with your thought when I'm driving in the drop. And I fucked her up the ass, then I dropped her in the lap of the Mickey D's. Cause the bitch couldn't get with me. She got a stinky ass box and this bitch is seen on the block and she sucking mad cock. And I'm rhyming easy words and I do this shit a lot. But the mental that I got them stored in a, in a place where I could grab them when I use them. I got this old fucker here looking at me using the vibe that I'm feeling and you know I'm about to abuse it. Yeah, and this shit could get confusing. If you think a little bit, then you can figure out and move it. Especially if you got the formula. But I ain't putting you on cause I ain't on to you. So I won't tell you how it works, how I do it. All I can say is that I like to keep it moving. I like to keep it fluid like a liquid in the glass. When I pour it down the crack of your bitch's fucking ass and I lick it, stick it. Gotta throw her out the crib and get it. Yo, the spot is pathetic. It's got a big garbage mound looking right in front of us. And it smells like shit, like what they done to us. We supposed to live here, but we can't. It smells like somebody died and I can shit. What the fuck is that? It's like a garbage mound. They can see that right there?
Yeah, they can see that, yeah. That's a landfill right there?
Like I wanna go sledding. I won't regret it until I break a couple fucking legs, then I'm deaded. I'm in the spot. Yeah, I'm down.
Never tell me, I know. Bring it back. We gonna end it with this. My man Coast.
Maybe I'll tell a story, make one up on the spot. Yo. My mind's playing tricks like boy. Hold on, here we go. Yeah. My mind's playing tricks, woke up from a bad dream. Like what the fuck does that mean? I'm on Google, what the fuck happened? I was in my sleep at night and I was scrapping a giant monster coming from my soul. Doesn't matter cause I'm still in control. He said to God, he said he won't take the road that I laid out in front of him like he's some chode. A chode? What the fuck is that, son? You know, that's a small fat dick like your fucking hoe. And then the story keeps going, it develops. And I envelop skill that I have in my cerebellum. Big words for you fucking stupid herbs. You don't know what I'm about to say, but you guessed it. And I'm stressing, every day messing. The thoughts in my head coming through and I regret it. And I need to take drugs. Maybe when I was little and I needed mad hugs, but I didn't get them, didn't sweat them, didn't matter. Every year I get a little fatter, then a little skinnier, then a little fatter again, and bring it right back. I won't pretend that I'm in shape, but round is a shape, and it doesn't really matter. Profound is my face, and the words that come out it. Never doubted the skill level on the fucking mic. I'm surrounded by rappers. Yeah. When I come in your town, bitch, you should recognize what I do. It's astounding. That's a couple more big words. You spent them $1 or $2s, I spent them 20s. Doesn't really fucking matter what you getting from me. Nothing. Everybody acting bluffing. And I smack them out their back seat. Then I take them to the store to the track meet. Make them run, but they shoes mad heavy. Spit bars and them shits mad deadly. Anybody try to come against me, be found on the fucking floor bleeding like it's Freddy. Coming for your life when you dreaming, I'm scheming. You should just believe it, believe it, believe it. Yeah. And I'm starting to sweat, doesn't even matter, cause I got the shit on my neck, and the hat on my head, and the jacket on my back. Motherfucker acting like I'm smoking crack, I ain't crazy. Just a little lazy lately, had a little surgery. Bitches wanna date me, they know I got the money in the bank. They could take me to the fucking cleaners, but they won't, please believe it. Yeah, I ain't never fucking scheming. Just telling how it is, man, you dreaming.
Yeah.
Coast. Keep rapping.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Coast Lo Castro. Appreciate you, my man. Dope. I know I threw on mad beats for you. I'm taking a lot of your time and shit, but I appreciate that.
I'm having fun, bro.
Where can people check you out online?
At Coast Lo Castro.
Okay.
On Instagram and Twitter. Phil Lo Castro on Facebook. This Coast on Facebook.
Okay. That's COAST.
COASTLOCASTRO.
Okay.
At Coast Lo Castro.
Coast Lo Castro.
And I'm all over Cypher Circuit page. You see this beautiful face right here.
I know you got
Just click on it.
So your music is on Spotify now. People want to listen to some.
I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Play, Tidal, everything. Coast Lo Castro. My last album, Without Papers, came out a few years ago.
Okay.
And I got another one coming soon.
Dope, man. Dope.
That's it.
All right.
We did it.
Sounds good. CypherCircuit.com. Check out my man Coast. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, y'all.
On time. Peace.